Alright guys, how's it going? It is Saturday, the 4th of April 2020, and you're watching KopTalk.tv. Alright, so how's the lockdown going? How are you doing, guys? We've been on lockdown here in Spain now for 3 weeks. Very strict lockdown. You're not allowed out unless you go to the supermarket, the bank, the pharmacy. You can take the dog out, but 15 minutes and no further than 50 metres away from your home. You can only have one person in the car. You can only go to the supermarket by yourself. It's very strict, compared to the UK, for example, where you can just pop to the park for a little walk if you want. You can't do that here. So we've been doing that for 3 weeks. It's been extended once, and they've announced today that it's going to be extended again until the very end of April. So there's a lot more of this to go. But the good thing is it's starting to go like that here over the last few days. And, they're a little bit optimistic that maybe it's starting to work here in terms of, the lockdown, the results of that. So fingers crossed on that front. And whatever part of the world you're in, I hope you're okay. I hope your family's okay and your friends, etc. So staying with the coronavirus, and there's been a lot of debate about whether the players should, give up some of their salary to help staff at the clubs and things like that. The people at the bottom of the ladder, the peasants like me and you. And as a result, I've been debating this on the KopTalk podcast, for example, over the last week or so. And I've said, look, it wouldn't surprise me if at some point we hear that Jordan Henderson's got the squad together and they've come up with some plan, without being told you've got to do this, because, Jordan Henderson's a cracking, character, personality. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being, as Brendan Rodgers would say. So it didn't come as a surprise to me when the news came out yesterday, I think it was, that Jordan Henderson had contacted all the other captains at the other Premier League clubs to see if they would all contribute, their teams, their players in their squads, to see if they would contribute to like an NHS fund or something like that, which is, amazing. And from what I understand, Jordan Henderson's disappointed that that's leaked so soon. But, it didn't come as a surprise that Jordan Henderson's the one stepping up. So that is a, really good... It's really good. He's stepped up as a captain. We're hearing all these things all the time now. That what he's doing at the club internally. With new players and youngsters and things like that. And to think back, when he first was appointed captain, I was very dubious, and that because I remember the incident with Balotelli when there was a free kick and he was shoving Henderson off the ball as if to say I'm taking it. Whereas, Steven Gerrard would have battered him, sort of thing, But it was a bit harsh, and he has grown and matured into a better player, and certainly a fantastic captain. So it didn't come as a surprise that. And obviously last week, I don't know, or earlier this week, whenever it was, an unnamed Liverpool player donated £25,000 to Alder Hey Children's Hospital to help the kids, help fight the coronavirus for the children that are caught up in all of this. Again, no publicity wanted. You can only speculate as to who that could be, but there's so many players I could think of in the team. So all very, very, very nice things. And one thing that I've been saying as well, and I think I mentioned it even on the podcast today, I did a bonus episode on the podcast today, was, and I said during the week, that if, that Liverpool Football Club would look after their staff, because we are genuinely a club that cares, right? Liverpool Football Club genuinely is a club that cares about the community and about its supporters. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't think that we would, you wouldn't expect Liverpool to behave in a way of a Mike Ashley, for example, or something like that. And, I just thought, the staff will be all right, they'll look after them. So it didn't come as a surprise to hear today that they're going to make sure that, I'm not sure what staff, but they have said, that the majority of staff or whatever, you'd have to read the exact wording, guys. But basically the people lower down the ladder at the club, when I say lower down the ladder, I don't mean that in a derogatory way or in a negative way. I just mean the reality. The people that are at the top, they're not on the big salaries. They're the people that make the club tick, and they're just as important as anyone at the top. But what has disappointed me tremendously is that the club are doing this furlough scheme or whatever, where the club are allowing the government to pay 80% of the wages of those staff members. Right now, I was speaking to my daughter today, and her partner, he's been laid off. He's on this furlough, so he's getting 80% of his wage up to a certain amount, which I'm sure it won't exceed that, because he's not a big earner like that. I'm not sure, guys, but I think the government will pay up to £2,500 a month or something like that in wages. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comment section. It's not something I'm clued up on. But from what I understand, he's getting 80% of his wages paid by the government, and his company are paying him nothing else, so he's down to 20% or whatever. So it's 80% is better than 0%. Do you know what I'm saying? So the government pay that. Now, he doesn't work for a big firm or anything like that, so it's acceptable, it's understandable. What bothers me is that Liverpool Football Club are putting the staff onto this government scheme, and this doesn't sit right with me. I think Tottenham may have been heavily criticised for this. I'm not sure. Again, Newcastle, them two clubs wouldn't surprise you, because their owners come under constant criticism all of the time. And we are a very wealthy club. Did you see the recent finances? We've had football not for a few weeks. It feels like months and years, or however long it is. I don't believe that Liverpool Football Club cannot financially sustain what's happening at the moment. I think they can handle that. We've got owners that are, billionaires, and all right enough, you can turn around and say, well, it's not their responsibility and the government are going to pick it up. But what you've got to remember is, whatever the government are paying out to these people, 80%, that's going to come from somewhere. So that's going to come from the taxpayer, okay, in the UK, which could mean money is deprived from the NHS and things like that. So for me, I think it is blatant exploiting of a situation which is just completely and utterly wrong, right? And it doesn't sit well with me. Now, so I do appreciate that the club have topped up that 20%. The club could sit back and go, whoa, you got your 80% for the government, that's it. But the club, could be paying out 100% or whatever, but are actually only having to pay 20% now, and it makes them look good because they're topping it up to 100%. So it sounds great, doesn't it? It's like, oh yeah, Liverpool are making sure the staff have got 100%. That is a very, very, very good thing, because there's a lot of companies out there that aren't doing that could. So well done for that. But I don't like the idea that they're putting the staff on this thing, taking 80% off the government. That's it. All right? And that's all I wanted to say about that, really. Richard Branson was heavily criticised recently. From the first update, from what I read, was that he was laying off his staff for 8 weeks unwaged. I think this was before these proposals were put out to the government. I'm not sure. I don't work in the United Kingdom. I don't pay tax in the United Kingdom, so I'm not really sure how everything goes. But what I do know is I have an understanding of what is morally right and what is morally wrong. And while it might be good that Liverpool, it's not good, it's brilliant that Liverpool are going to make sure that none of our staff are, that suffer in that regard, because they're going to continue to pay the 20%. Brilliant. But I don't think it's right that they should be taking 80% off the government. I just think it's wrong, guys. And I welcome your thoughts on it entirely. And I had a brief look around social media earlier. There's a lot of the click, in the media, saying how great Liverpool are. They're making sure the staff get 100%, and a lot of people are pulling them up, saying, "Hang on a minute, you're spinning it," because it's fine to criticise the other football clubs that were doing this, putting their staff on furlough, but now Liverpool are doing it. You're spinning it to make it sound good. And in fairness to Melissa Reddy, the journalist, She put out today saying it kind of undone all the good work that your likes of your Jordan Hendersons and that are doing. Do you know what I mean, guys? And I'm very, very disappointed. Very, very, very disappointed, because I can't help but think that the billionaire owners, a very, very wealthy club, is taking money away. It's all right saying, oh, let the government pay it, fuck them, if it's there, we'll exploit it, we'll take it. Hang on a minute, it's not the government personally doing it, it's your taxpayers, it's your ordinary people in the UK, that most of which are on their arse anyway. And now, that could potentially be taking money away from the national health. Now, I know that makes it sound very simple, and there's no proof that would be the case, but it doesn't sit right with me, guys. And that's it. It's not an excuse just to have a pop at the owners. Why would I want to have a pop at the owners? I've done nothing but fucking praise them since everything's been going right for once. But this is wrong. This is wrong. And I agree with Melissa Reddy, what she said. It's undone the great work that the club has already done, to ensure that everyone's all right. And yes, the club don't have to pay that extra 20% or whatever, I guess. But that's very good. But 20% for the club is better than paying 100%. And yeah, you could say, well, they could just lay them off or whatever. Right, fine, that's fine. But I just think that the club makes an absolute fortune, and there's no way that club is on its arse right now. So I'm not having it. I'm really fucking disappointed, and I'm ashamed, to be honest. Completely and utterly ashamed. But there you go. I'm not going to get too worked up about it, because I'd rather stay rather positive. But I wanted to seek your opinions on that. And that's about it, to be honest. So, like I was saying on the podcast today, the KopTalk podcast, fair play to Jordan Henderson stepping up and reaching out not only to his own teammates and his own players at the club, but to every other Premier League club. But what a fucking guy. Were you surprised when Jordan Henderson's name came out was doing that? Because I wasn't, and I've been saying it all fucking week, saying, you watch, let's see what Jordan Henderson does, because I'm sure he'll be stepping up in the background. And I was right. And I'm so chuffed about that, because he's such a good kid. All week I've been saying that's all I want to see is Jordan Henderson to come out and go, right, I've spoke to the lads, we're going to do this for the staff that need our help. So right, the club, brilliant. Yeah, some staff, whatever amounts. I would like to see the figures. I'd like to see the figures put out by Liverpool Football Club as to how many staff have been put on this furlough, whatever the fuck it is. And I'd like to know how much exactly that's costing or would have cost the club. Do you get me drift, guys? Let me know your thoughts. Morally, I think it's just fucking wrong. And that applies to any football club in the Premier League, the big clubs I'm talking about. Because let's not forget, there is a huge gulf between the top and the bottom of the Premier League clubs. You know what I'm saying? And as for the footballers, come on, they should be, putting their hands in their pockets. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it whatsoever. On a moral basis, on your own personal judgment. Because I tell you what, every single one of us has an amount of money in our hand at one time, and we know how much of that money we could give. Do you know what I mean? Be it 10 pence, £1, £10, £100, whatever. And if all of us, I think, all of us were on that sort of money that them players were on, we'd all be going, right, I'm doing my bit. The good thing is we've got good eggs at Liverpool Football Club, and they'll be doing that. Yes, it is an easy option to single footballers out, but you can understand why they did it. And people, were heavily criticising the government, for making an example of them last week. But from what I understand, is it Matt Hancock? From what I understand, he was asked a specific question about footballs. I believe. I don't know. I didn't see it. But some people have made it sound like, that he went up and prepared a statement to say, hey, for the footballers should be doing this. I'm losing a bit of faith with it all, guys, to be honest. Losing a bit of faith with it all, because all I know is if I had that kind of money, it would already be happening, And if I was, a Richard Branson or a John Henry, I nearly called him Jordan, a John Henry, then I'd be making sure people were all right for as long as I could. Now, don't get me wrong, if it goes on for eternity, it's a business, it's not a charity, I get that. But morally, it's just fucking wrong. It's wrong. And I'm not going to agree or engage in any conversations or arguments about it. Don't knows best. I know I'm right on this one. I feel very let down that they're doing this and taking that money away from the taxpayer and from potentially the NHS and other things like that. So, not a good move by Liverpool Football Club. You can dress it up and spin it as much as you want with your 20%, making sure they get 100%. But I'm not happy about it. I welcome your thoughts, guys. Please try and have a good weekend. I'm really missing the football. We're having a party right here on this YouTube channel tonight, 7 PM UK time. It is restricted to members of this channel only. You'd have to click on join underneath. And the reason that is one, we want it to be private. And two, we get a lot of knobheads coming, random people. We did one last Saturday that was open. And you spend more time kicking people out of the chat that are just rival fans or idiots. So tonight we're going to have a more relaxed environment. I'd love you to come along. Basically, we have a beer, we have a knees up, we a bit of banter, a sing song, some music, and you tell me what music to put on. And we've got a music stream, and we just have a good laugh, basically. So if you want to get involved with that, click on join underneath. And if you're already a member of the YouTube channel, that means you've got a green name and everything. In the comments, when you comment on a little football next to your name, then make sure you come along here. At 7 UK time. Click on the community tab if you haven't seen the link for tonight's stream. Okay, guys, I welcome your thoughts on everything, and I'll catch up with you real soon. Take care, guys. Stay safe. Don't go out, for fuck's sake. All right, catch you in a bit. All right.